Welcome, everybody, to the San Francisco Zine Fest 2025 Roundtable with our guest of honor, Thien Pham, and friends. So I'm here with San Francisco Zine Fest. I'm just here to do a little housekeeping before we get to the main event. So just to let you know, I'm going to do a little intro for a few minutes, talk about our house rules and expectations, and then we're going to get to the meat, which is the conversation between these folks. You in the audience will have a chance to ask questions, and then we'll have a few little closing slides. So I want to talk a little bit about San Francisco Zine Fest, which was founded in 2001 as a gathering place for writers and artists from around the world, but especially the Bay Area. Typically held as a one-day event at the County Fair Building in Golden Gate Park. And after 2 years of virtual fests due to COVID, we returned to in-person at our 2022 festival at this new venue, City View at Metreon. We have over 230 artists exhibiting this year at the festival, with programming including screen printing workshops, zine making workshops, San Francisco Public Library giveaways, and multiple panels with guests. I want to talk a little bit about our Safer Spaces policy. We are committed to providing a harassment-free experience for everyone, regardless of gender identity expression, sexual orientation, disability, physical appearance, body size, race, or religion. We will not tolerate harassment at SFZF events in any form. Individuals violating the Safer Spaces policy may be sanctioned or expelled from the space or the event at the discretion of any SF Zine Fest organizer. So we ask that people respect people's opinions, beliefs, differing states of being, and differing points of view. Always get explicit verbal consent before taking someone's photo or crossing other personal boundaries. Be responsible for your actions and aware that they may have an effect on others regardless of your original intent. A safe and respectful community is everyone's responsibility, and please wear a mask. All right, I'm going to turn things over to Thien.
Jean can start.
Oh, Jean, sorry, I'm going to turn things over to Luen Yang.
It's good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for attending this panel. My name is Luen Yang. I'm a cartoonist, and I'm the moderator of this panel. Today, I am with a whole host of very celebrated Bay Area-based cartoonists, and we're all kind of old. So what we're going to talk about is how we got our start. Let me start by introducing everyone. I'm going to start with Briana Loewinsohn to my immediate left. Briana is a cartoonist living in Oakland, California. She has two jobs. She is both a graphic novel creator and also an art teacher at Bishop O'Dowd High School. Her 2023 book, Ephemera, won the Indies Editor's Choice Prize, and her most recent book, Raised by Ghosts, was just nominated for a Harvey. Let's give Briana a round of applause. And next to Briana is Julia Wertz. Julia Wertz is a professional cartoonist, an amateur historian, and a part-time urban explorer / photographer. She has worked on a number of books, including The Fart Party, volumes 1 and 2. Also, Drinking at the Movies and The Infinite Weight and Other Stories, both of which were nominated for Eisners. Let's give Julia a round of applause. Young Julia Wertz at Zine Fest. And next to Julia is Jason Shiga, who is an Oakland native. He has been obsessed with Choose Your Own Adventure comics since he was a lad. In 2003, Jason Shiga won an Eisner for talent deserving wider recognition, and he also has won a Harvey for Best Outstanding Story. You've won other Eisners too, though, that were not on this, right?
Yes.
How many Eisners?
Not to mention a nomination for Best Letterer.
Yeah, and he also got a nomination for Best Letterer. Yes. So he's created a bunch of titles, including Double Happiness and Fleep, and right now he has an amazing Choose Your Own Adventure comic for kids called Adventure Game Comics. Let's give Jason a round of applause.
That's young Jason Shiga right there. The SF Zine Fest.
Now, at the very end,
there's Jason.
I still got the mic, bro.
I know, but I'm just trying to show people my slideshow. I made the slides.
You guys, this is not the harassment that was spoken of earlier. I want you to know that this is a safe space, even though they hate each other.
At the very end, we have Raina Telgemeier, who's probably the most famous person in the building. Yeah. No, we're still. She is the #1 New York Times best-selling, multiple Eisner-winning creator of Smile, Sisters, and Guts. Her most recent book, The Cartoonists Club, is a collaboration with Scott McCloud and is available right now. Let's give Raina a round of applause. And finally, last but definitely not least, is the only one of us who is a guest of honor here at the SF Zine Fest. Thien Pham is a graphic novelist, a comic book artist, and a high school teacher, also at Bishop Dowd High School. He has worked on graphic novels such as Sumo and Level Up, which was written by me. We can have arguments about whether the story or the art is better. His book Family Style won an Eisner Award and was recently named the One Book, One San Diego read for 2025.
Young Thien Pham, 2006. This is back when.
No, you gotta.
This picture is 2006. This is back when Zine Fest was at Cell Space, or this might be the women's building. I'm not sure, but back in the Mission, back in the olden days. And there's some of my zines. So while we're talking, I'm going to be just kind of scrolling through. And let me introduce this guy. So this guy, his name is Luen Yang. Obviously, you guys know him. He writes and sometimes draws graphic novels. His graphic novel American Born Chinese won the Prince Award. It was made into a TV show that should have been had many seasons, but an amazing TV show for Disney Plus. Gene has written comics for Marvel, DC, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar, and all that stuff. He's also a MacArthur genius, and he was once the ambassador to children's literature for the United States of America. Gene, this is a big news. You just dropped that in there, but Gene is the new writer of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you guys. That's amazing. Look at this, is young Gene Yang right here. Oh, so cute. These are his American Born Chinese. So if you read American Born Chinese, this was what it was when it was very first published.
Started off as a mini comic.
Yeah. And we're going to just be scrolling through as we're talking, just old pictures of us. This is young Julia at 2006 and stuff like that. So if you wonder what we're doing.
All right, thanks. Okay, so I figured since we all kind of, everybody on this panel kind of got our start at a Zine Fest kind of like this, right? At events kind of like this. So, and we've been like kind of crusty and we've hung on to comics even though lots of people have ditched comics since we started. What I want to know is, what do you miss? What do you miss about being a young creator at like a zine show like this?
Oh my God, Gene.
What?
You guys old, crusty.
We're so old. Have you looked around that floor? There's some young people.
We are old. It's true. Well, honestly, like this is awesome. Like I feel like this Zine Fest is so much better than the ones we ever did. Like the art being put out is so amazing. I just miss that like my back hurts, and when I was young my back didn't hurt. But there's nothing really like artistically that I can think of, because it's like they're doing even better than us. You guys top that answer.
Yeah, yikes. I just want to say I don't think we're that old at all. I'm 25. I don't know about you guys. What I miss about being a young creator, I think I miss every convention you went to as a young person during the first few years. You would meet all these other cartoonists who were kind of on the same level as you were, and then they became your friends forever. Like I met most of these people at the first one, and that is a gross, sweaty photo. So I miss that. I miss like making friends and then not realizing that they would be around for so long, and then here they are. Yeah.
So the thing she misses most is meeting me. Is what she was trying to say. I guess well, there's two things I miss. There's I miss how in those days every new comic we put out was like an experiment, like something something improbable that couldn't exist, and we brought it out of the ether and it's like look at this, and then as for going to the conventions, it's themselves to debut this mini comic. I always remember, being excited the night before and thinking like, what if I meet my hero? What if Chester Brown shows up and I get to shake his hand?
I want to shake his hand.
What if Milo Manera shows up and I get to shake his hand? Anyway, but just to name a couple.
Yeah, play to your audience.
Those are two things I miss about. Anyway, Tin, save me.
I love tabling. It's like even I'll do shows that I know I'm not gonna make any money and no one's gonna show up, because I just love the idea. It's like how people they love owning a bar or want to own a bar, because they just want to stand there and hang out with their friends, and that's all I want to do is sit at a table, sell comics with my friends. And I haven't grown as an adult, so I'm still just a single guy that just sits around, and everyone else has other things to do. Like they have their careers, they have family, and so they won't do it anymore. So the only way I can do it is to make them go into a panel with me. And so this is literally right here my dream, you guys. This is like, I love this so much, sitting here with like my best friends and my I love it so much. And like when we're out there at the table and we're sitting there selling each other's work, I love it a lot. I love it so much, and that's like I miss it all the time, and that's why I keep trying to relive it, even though nobody wants to do it anymore.
This is going to be a cynical answer. I was going to say, like, I miss having the same stars in my eyes as, like, the people across the table. Like, I'm meeting you, you're meeting me, we're just excited about comics. But when I think about it, I'm like, I actually miss cash. Like, we didn't used to have, like, Venmo and stuff. It was a cash economy. And I sold my books for, like, 25 cents, like 50 cents. Like my mini comics were so cheap because I was like, they're not valued, they're just stapled, photocopied, whatever. Like not thinking about it. But I mean, I would sometimes get like $4 from the person across the table, and I was like, I'm so rich. So I miss like counting my $1 bills at the end of the day because it was so satisfying. Because American dollars, it's like Canadians, they're like, oh, all this change, cling, cling. But like in America, we're just like, so anyway, like a fat stack of cash, and it's all ones. But it looked so cool.
I remember meeting Raina at an Ape, and I picked up takeout, and she was selling it for $1. And even back then,
Inflation.
And even back then, we were like, "This is too little, Raina. You gotta charge more than this." So she's like, "Well, this is all I want to sell it for," and I was like, "She's never gonna make it."
Let's keep that. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say so next time it goes down that way, let's keep it there. So and that way we can vary up the order. I'm gonna yell. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna yell.
Not to do. You have to talk to the mic.
No, it's okay. You can repeat the question. So my second question is this: like, there are lots of different ways of getting started in books, right? There are lots of different ways of getting started in comics. You can go to portfolio reviews. You can submit directly to publishers. Why did you choose to get your start by making zines, by hand making comics, like Xeroxing comics and stapling them by hand?
I'm gonna hand it down so Jean doesn't yell at me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all I knew when I was a kid was newspaper comics, and so I thought, all right, I want to be a newspaper cartoonist. That is my future. I had not seen alternative comics. I hadn't seen zines or all those things. I think I would have started a lot sooner if I had, but the closest thing to like an indie comic when I was maybe like 12 or 13 was like the Linda Berry collections were being published. And so eventually I wound up working at a book publisher in New York City, and I found the room that has all the dummies, which are the different book sizes of like blank books that you choose. And like, okay, So I was like, I can make a dummy of my comics. And so I was like, Linda Berry's trim size is about this much, and this dummy on this shelf at this random publisher is a sort of different trim size. I can kind of fake it. So I was just kind of trying to put the pieces together. So I just kind of like tried to do something in the spirit of a Linda Berry trade paperback. Yeah. And then eventually I was like, oh, I could print these myself too. I don't have to. Okay.
Nobody wanted to publish the comics that I wanted to write. I think I was like, who would want to do this? And then I remember going into a store and I saw an old Optic Nerve. You guys remember Optic Nerve? And I was like, whoa, someone just did this? Someone just took they just did this? Because I did that back in like 4th grade, but I didn't think that anyone would be doing, like, that's not a thing that people were doing. And I loved that comic so much that I was like, basically, in art school, I basically copied it.
I did too.
Yeah, I just basically did a story. And then I was like, this is it's gotta be the dumbest thing in the world. Like, who does this? And then when I moved to Oakland, I met a whole bunch of fools that did the same thing. And it was, and back then, I felt like that was the only way in. And I don't know, we were all going for the same goal, and the goal was so low. It was the lowest, like maybe you get published by Fantagraphics. And no. I'm saying that was the dream. That was the biggest dream that we possibly have. It is. I'm just saying that's what we have. That's all we had, and what we always were clamoring for it. So so that was our dream, and Fantagraphics was like, we're not publishing you guys, so we just had to do it ourselves. Yeah.
Like Raina, when I first started making comics, my only exposure, or most of my exposure, had been the comics in the newspaper. So of course, as soon as I started making comics, I didn't even know what a mini comic was. I wanted to be in the in my college newspaper, and I remember I lost to Darren Bell. He got the spot in the in the college newspaper, and I tried every year for 4 years to get into the paper, and every year, Darren Bell beat me out. He's my nemesis.
Where is he today?
Well, we don't have to go into that.
Why did you bring this up?
Okay. Anyways, after college, I thought, I was like, I didn't know what a mini comic was, and in my mind, I invented mini comics. I was like, no one's ever thought of this. I'm gonna take my comics, I'm gonna photocopy them, and I'm gonna staple them together. And I remember. To get the thick cardstock cover, I didn't even know where to get that type of paper. So I cut up a manila folder into the rough shape of an 11 by 17 ledger-sized piece of paper, and I fed it through the photocopier, and it jammed. But before it did, I got 2 printouts. And anyways. Enough about it.
Darren Bell is the takeaway from that. We all have to hunt that guy down. I feel like where his body is. I started printing zines at Kinko's in the early aughts, and I feel like a lot of people knew the trick back then to get the freebies, where they would give you a little key card and you could trick it. And it was just regular pay. I only made zines because I didn't actually, when I first got started, to aspire to have anything printed. I was like, I'm just making these comics, I'm going to give them to my friends. And they were just something to trade at zine shows for a while. And then after I printed these ones at Kinko's, I was like, I'm going to buy a printer for $100 and print my own. So there's a bunch of zines out there that are missing pages and have some upside down and all these mistakes, some pages from other zines, because it turns out it's kind of hard to do that if you're not paying attention. And eventually they were collected and put into a book, but I did not see that coming at this stage, especially the first Zine Fest was only my second festival, and I was just so excited to get other people's zines. And I was thinking about it lately. I unpacked a few, and does anyone remember a zine called Bitter Pie Comics?
Darren Bell, I think, has
I just have so much of this woman's comics, and I just have no idea what happened to her, and that was a kind of special time. So that's why I did zines. that was a question, right?
A lot of salient references here today, you guys. And hot takes, Jason Shiga invented zines. Let's see, I was raised right across the bay in Berkeley and Oakland area, and so we had tons of indie comics, and my parents were these really weird things called hippies, and hippies loved comics. They were underground comics, and they were really dirty, and guess what? I read all of them. There were just like all different types of comics in our house, and then we had like amazing comic shops like Comic Relief, which had like the Simpsons comic book guy is based on the guy who ran that, this guy Rory Root. Anyways, I just was like in this world my whole life, and like my pops read me comics instead of children's books at night, and like comics all the way from like the 30s up until Linda Berry was huge for me. I always just loved, what I loved was that everyone had their own style. You could do whatever you wanted. So for me, I started making comics when I was in college. And I was like not really into fine art. I was like, I don't want to make a painting on a wall in a museum. So I was like, oh, like I really love narrative art. I'm gonna try and make my own comic. And I just immediately was like, I love this so much. And that's why I just started making them. And it's probably out of like insecurities and low self-esteem that I was like not looking for a publisher. But it was just so fun to make them and meet these dum-dums.
Well, as I said earlier, we are really old. And but honestly speaking, like the many of the folks that we started off with in the 90s and the 2000s have moved on from comics, right? We know a lot of folks who started in comics but moved into animation or even television or other forms of storytelling. We know people who have left storytelling altogether to do other jobs, to actually make real money, become lawyers and that sort of thing. Like, what do you think kept you going? What kept you motivated throughout the years? Like, why did you never give up on comics?
Don't give the mic to Jason. Julia, you start.
Why do we keep going?
Yeah,
in the face of
poverty?
What
keeps you going in comics?
I just love comics so much. I love the medium. I love the people in it. I love every part about it. That's why there's really no other reason, because we know none of us are, we're not like rolling in the money from it. It takes way too long to make them. That's it. I just love them.
Same as you. No, mine's the same as you.
I think you're not allowed to have the
No, he can
microphone.
have it.
I just teach you up, bro.
No.
I just teach you up.
Resentment is a big motivator. I keep thinking about this Darren Bell guy. Like,
Guilty conscience.
I gotta be better than Darren Bell. Oh,
Google.
Don't, Darren. Oh wait, are you recording this, by the way?
Darren's gonna watch this. You want to Pulitzer Prize?
I love comics. Even when we were not making money, losing money, we were still doing comics. I remember a story. me and Gene were teaching at high school. This is back when Gene was still making his American-born Chinese, and Gene was like, even when we hung out with our group, Gene was always the one that was like, bro. This is my imitation of Jin Yang. Bro, why are we doing this, bro? Like, bro, we're losing money. I have a wife. She wants me to quit. I gotta quit drawing comics, bro. Dude, I don't think we can do this anymore. Like, look, we're old. But even back then, this was when we were 30. He was like, we're old. We gotta stop doing this. And I remember like telling Gene, like, hey, and this is when he was doing American-born Chinese, and he was like gonna stop. He was at like issue 2.3 or something like that, and he was gonna stop doing this altogether. And I was like, I love your comics so much, Gene, that if you keep drawing them, I'll actually make the comics for you. I'll staple them. I'll take it to the copy store. So like, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but these covers are all silkscreen by me. Wow. Like, remember this, Yang? Because Yang doesn't know anything about silk screening, so he doesn't. So we made all the covers, and it's like because I just loved what we were doing so much, and even though we were losing money, I was like, I will be willing to work this other job and still do this and not make any money ever in my life. And I noticed that actually became like my saving grace. Was like, and this is advice I give to almost every cartoonist, is get a day job, because it really frees you up to do like these things that you you don't have to compromise on. And I just love comics so much that I'm glad I like my day job. But even though I didn't like my day job, I would still do it so that I can continue doing comics. So it's just like Julia. It's like the love of it. Get a day job, Raina.
Get a day job, Raina. Yeah, I mean, I hit the jackpot. Like, that's true. I always say, like, right place, right time, right people. But I mean, I've met each of you like in the early aughts, and like we know each other from doing Zine Fests together. I used to sit next to Thien Pham at San Diego Comic-Con, and he would like throw spitballs at people, and I was like, who is this guy? Jeez. So then, I went off and like made stuff, and Scholastic published it, and kids read it, and it was great. And like then they were like, make more. So I could be cynical about it. I could be doing it because it's my day job, because it's a good source of income for me. But I do it because when I finish a book, I'm like, ooh, comics. Even though I'm like, oh my God, I just spent 3 years drawing a comic and my hand's ready to fall off. I have another story to tell. And it's the only kind of story I know how to tell. And kind of like mid to beginning career, people would ask me things like, are you ever going to make a real book? Oh. I know. I'd be like, what are you talking about? And so this is me making real books. And this is me sharing, I want to share the glory of all of it and like be on the stage with these guys. And so when I talked earlier about the stars in my eyes, it's like what I see now is the stars in the reader's eyes, and that's what keeps me going.
Okay, I'm gonna ask a question, just repeat it into the mic.
Okay, so what do you think your life would be like had you given up?
What would our life be like if we had given up drawing comics?
If you had to guess, what would your life be?
Well, I'm going to answer it because I have the mic, and I'll give it to Raina. I don't know. I think my life would be pretty sad. I mean, everything, I tell people this all the time, but everything that's good that's ever happened to me has been through comics. Like, my best friends are through comics. I got my job because of comics. I don't know what I would be doing. I definitely don't think I would be doing art because as hard as comic is, I think art, surviving making art might be even harder, and so yeah, I think I'd probably be like working and just not, and I can't imagine that. It's hard to imagine. It's really hard to imagine because it's such a huge part of my life.
We didn't go to school together, but he graduated a year before I started at SVA. Gerard Way went to School of Visual Arts, and then I went to School of Visual Arts, and I'm like, I guess I could have started like a mega famous rock band. That would have been my other like plan B, I think.
Just by proximity.
Yeah, no, like Tin. I think my life would be pretty sad and pathetic if it were, if it weren't for comics. I met my wife through comics, and we had a kid. If it weren't for comics, this adorable 12-year-old would poof out of existence. Gosh, I can't even imagine it.
I like to think I would be like famous and have a lot of money, maybe. I don't know, doing something else. No, there's nothing wrong with this, but I would definitely be working in the service industry still because that is my only other skill set. So I would probably be waiting tables or be a bartender. That's what I did for 10 years before I became a cartoonist. It's really the only thing I can do, so that's probably what I would be doing.
Very similarly, I also only worked retail jobs before Jean and Tin got me the job at the high school through comics. But I'm actually selling one of my really early zines, which is from 2003, you guys, and it has like my Yahoo account. But it's all about my like terrible retail job and how much I hated it. But that is probably what I would be doing. But there's a chance I would still have my delightful husband and kids because I knew him from growing up in Oakland and Berkeley. So there's a chance for me, guys. There's a chance. There's a chance my kids wouldn't poof out of my life.
But the butterfly effect, I don't think your kid would exist, right? Unless your husband ejaculated at exactly the right moment.
What? No, boo.
You guys,
The butterfly effect.
People are leaving.
Did you not see the child?
Jean, do you want to follow up after that?
All right. So Jason, I was hoping you can give us a primer on just human biology in general in 5 minutes. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I was kidding. Okay, we're at SF Zine Fest. The next question I want to ask is: do you think there's actually something specific and special about the San Francisco Bay Area when it comes to comics? Like why is there a reason why we're all here?
So affordable.
I mean, I was just born here. Like, I feel like sometimes I feel guilty being born into the Bay Area. Is anyone else from the Bay Area? You guys, don't you? It's like the best. I know. That's how I feel. But I do feel like it has such like a history of comics, like from a lot of different angles, like from newspaper angles and from like the hippie underground comics, as well as like the indie comics of like Dan Klaus, Adrian Tomine, and Richard Sala. Like there is just so many people here, and I think it's the weather. I think cartoonists are maybe babies, and they just need some nice weather. What do you guys think?
I'm the weather. It never changes. That's an insane answer.
It's not as insane as Jason's.
Yeah, that was boo. I'm sort of from the Bay Area. I'm from up north a little bit, but I think it's more like not the Bay Area necessarily being special so much as you kind of fight to stay here. It's so expensive to be here, so you have to want to be here or be stuck here because you got married and had kids. One of those was my kids, by the way, just that was running around. I don't know who they are.
Just watch this recording.
But I think like any city, like people gravitate towards it, especially when they go out on their own, and then artists find each other. And I think cities give you more stories to tell than other towns. So we all had a bunch of stories to tell, and then we made zines out of those stories, and then we all met each other. And I don't think it does happen in other towns, obviously, but it's kind of special when it happens in cities.
Okay, Jean, I'm going to explain why this is the worst question, because everyone on this panel is from the Bay Area, so it's not like any one of us decided to come here.
Yeah, Jean.
Just through inertia, we just stayed.
That's such a dumb question, Jean.
All of us just stayed where we were. So there's no active agency involved.
Specifically because I did not think there was a way for you to work a certain word into your answer.
Wait, what word? Darren Bell?
I don't know what happened, but when I moved to Oakland, it felt like everybody that was doing comics was in Oakland. Like it was like I met Jason, and then we found out that down the street was Dan Klaus lived down the street, and like Angel and Tomini and all these people just happened to be around. So I don't know what it is about the Bay Area. Maybe there's so many art schools here, or maybe it's the weather. But it was
Being born here.
it might be just being born here, but it definitely had a vibe to it,
A vibe. Good answer.
Yes.
Got a vibe.
I'm a native San Franciscan, so I think I win over all of you guys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I win the panel. But I left. I left as soon as high school was over because high school people were like, comics, you're weird. And I went to CCSF for a bit, and I was like, art class, woo! And they were great art classes, but there were no comics classes. So the first comics classes I found were down in Los Angeles at the Otis College of Art and Design. But that was just like a summer class. And so it wasn't until I found that like the School of Visual Arts in New York City had like a comics major that I was like, okay, New York, that's where I'm going to. Except I decided to be an illustration major. I don't know why that happened, but so then I stayed in New York for a long time because I was interested in the publishing industry. I was interested in like children's books and the different avenues of publishing. But then I came back here in 2015. So I guess all of the things you guys said were true. I actually hate the weather in San Francisco. But that's because I grew up right next to the zoo, near. Exactly. Thank you very much. Now I live in the East Bay. Everything's better now. And I'm close enough to what?
I said, I like how you turned that around.
Did you hear the? Yeah.
It's foggy.
All right. I think we'll do one last question before we open it up to audience questions in case you have anything you'd like to ask any of our panelists. And because only one of us is the 2025 SF Zine Fest Guest of Honor, I thought we would end with a Thien Pham specific question. And what I'd like to ask everybody is, what was your first impression of Thien Pham when you met him? Like, how did you meet and what was your first impression of him?
Well, Thien and I have told our origin story many times, but I'm not going to tell the whole thing. But basically, we met at a comics reading, and the thing about us was that we were like instantly best friends. Like, I think we went out to dinner with Jesse Reclaw, and then he was like, "Do you want to draw on Wednesdays?" And I was like, "Yes." And then we just started drawing every Wednesday. Like, I feel like the day after we met, it was so crazy. And now I see him every day of my life, and he's the godfather to my kids, and we work together, and we're best friends.
Ooh, that's hard to follow. It's like a wedding toast. I'm like, well, I'm Briana's cousin, and I don't know what I'm doing here. I actually don't remember when I first met. I know it was like early 2005, maybe Ape. But I think so. I was around the scene for a few years, met Thien then, but then I left for New York for a long time, and I was like, I'm not those Bay Area cartoonists. I have a new group now. So my warm feelings towards Thien come when I returned, and I saw him at a bagel shop, and I was like, well, the San Francisco cartoonists, the Bay Area cartoonists, like, I don't know, they're all scattered, and no one's really called me or anything, and then I ran into Thien, and he was so nice, and he was like, welcome back, you should hang out with us, but they didn't call me for a while. It took a minute, but then he just welcomed me back in, and it was really nice, and then I met some more people, so it took about 15 years for me to warm up to him.
I actually
This is
can't
the dumbest question.
remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember the first time I met Thien Pham, but I remember one of the first as he was at my house, and I used to host like a weekly drawing night at my place, and I saw Thien Pham, and I'll tell you a little secret, which is I like to play matchmaker, and I thought Thien Pham, Lark Pien, they would make a great couple, and I was.
Did you?
I did. I'm responsible for that. Anyways, I was behind the scenes orchestrating them getting together, and eventually,
What happened to that relationship?
Thien,
And what happened to there now? Well, I just want to say,
Thien Pham won the Pulitzer Prize.
I want you guys to know that none of us here, or a lot of us here, would not be here without this guy. This guy opened up his home to every Wednesday. We would meet at his house and draw comics. It was like me, Jason, all these other guys. And I don't remember, like, I met Lark. Lark is my ex-wife, but also still a very dear friend. So I don't remember Jason setting it up. I thought that when me and Lark got together, it was a huge surprise because we had dinner to tell Gene Yang that we were dating. We told Gene, we're like, Gene, let's have dinner, and he didn't know why, and so we had dinner with him. And Gene loves Lark. Gene does.
Really thoughtful,
Gene,
very kind, very intellectual. Go ahead.
yeah, Gene does not like me very much. So we sat there and had dinner, and Lark was like, so we're dating, we just wanted you to know. And Gene Yang said this. Gene Yang was like, what? Why? What? You? Her? What? That was like 30 minutes of the dinner was that. So I think it's weird that you were trying to set that up and Gene was actively trying not to set that up, which is really funny.
If it weren't for me, you never would have gotten married.
Or divorced. Well, I think I also knew Lark first. I knew a lot of you guys, but I knew Lark's work, and so I used to sit next to Lark at San Diego Comic-Con and show my zines and stuff, and then you were the guy sitting next to Lark throwing the spitballs. And I was also married at the time, so it was sort of like two nice couples sitting next to each other. And then a couple of years later, we were all supposed to be on a panel about married couples in comics at APE. And I saw Tin and I was like, hey, we're going to be on a comics panel together in like an hour. And you were like, oh, I didn't tell you yet. I'm getting divorced. And I was like, oh, okay. And then 2 years later, I got divorced. It's fine. And what? I know. but
Jason's fault.
But when that happened, oh, and there's like a story that you won't tell on this panel either about that. But anyways, that was when Tin really was like, okay, bro, divorce club. And you were kind of like, it's cool. Like we got comics, we got friends, we got everything else. And so then we just started going out to dinner and drawing at Jason's house a lot. And like, that was 10 years ago. And like, life is so rosy. Life is so good. So I guess that's all Thien Pham's doing.
I want you to answer.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh, my first impression.
Gene's been asking a lot of questions.
So my
About
first
the man.
impression of Thien Pham.
Yes, it's your
As was mentioned, Jason Shiga used to host a get-together once a week for all of the cartoonists in the Bay Area. I never went to art school. I feel like those meetings were my art school. Through the early 2000s, I think, I went almost every week, and it was incredible. And it was through that I met Tin. So Tin came a couple of times. I remember him being really loud and me not totally understanding all the jokes he was trying to make. And then this one time I get to art night a little bit late and everybody is gathered around looking at something. You know what I mean? Like, and I couldn't tell what it was. And Tin was standing on the side, like looking really proud. Yeah, like Superman pose, really proud. And then I go and look, and it's a stack of these Polaroids of Tin without clothes, like 100% without clothes. And these were not like sexy in any way. You know what I mean? You know, and it was just him like standing in the middle of a grocery aisle without clothes, or him standing pumping gas into his car, no clothes. And I was like, "What are you doing? What is this?" And he goes, "It's art. This was an assignment that I had in college. This is art," and it did not look like art to me. It just looked really gross. And that was my first impression of Thien Pham, was that he enjoys.
We gotta find that teacher.
Yeah, he enjoys showing photos of himself, but later we became friends. So okay, at this point we have about 15 minutes left. Are there any questions that any of us can answer?
Oh my God.
Yes.
So you mentioned, and I fully agree, that if you're gonna get into this, you're gonna want to have a date.
when it comes to finding a day job that works well with being an artist, do you have any comments about that? Are there any day jobs that you felt that kind of sync better with being an artist versus clash horrifically or anything?
This is just for me, but I really felt like a job that that didn't zap my creative energy. So I think it would have been really hard if I was like a graphic designer or an illustrator at a company and then had to go home and do my own art. I think that would have been really hard. For me, as a teacher, I did teach art, but like as a teacher, I didn't use a lot of that creative, like my energy too much, and I thought that was perfect for me because I was able to teach art and think about art and then go home and do art, So that's just what worked for me. But I think I've met a lot of graphic designers that are amazing cartoonists. I've met a lot of art like house illustrators that are really great comic book artists, or great video game artists that are also amazing comic book artists as well. So I don't think there's any hard and fast rules to that at all.
So I think that cartoonist is like the loneliest job in the world, except for when we do it all at Jason's house. But it's a lot of sitting by yourself and drawing and thinking and writing. And I can't have music on. I can't have people around me. I need to be so solitary. So like when I had a day job, it was really like people focused. Like I was in retail, or I was working like customer service, or I was talking about something like a bartending job. And the reason I think that was great is because I got to like see what people were up to and see how people really spoke to each other, and just being able to like eavesdrop. And so I got so much material out of it. So for a while I actually intentionally stayed out of art spaces because I was like, I want the real world. I want to see what people are really into. So something that lets you eavesdrop.
I worked at the Oakland Public Library for 10 years as a library aide, and was doing mini comics on the side, and yeah, I loved it. It was, I look back on that time with fondness and nostalgia.
I want to second what Raina said about people, because it is such a solitary job. That really worked for me. I'm a morning person. I like to get up and like work on comics all day and then go to my job at night. But then I didn't make any money at that one too, so then I had to wake up and go to my first job and then my second job. So I don't know.
Me and Jean are just teachers also, but teaching high school was great because little kid school, those guys, you're busy all day. That I don't even know how those people do it, and they're amazing to me. And then college, I think you don't sit with kids as much. You're not with your students as much. But a high school teaching job is so great because the way that we run our classroom, at least, is you'll give an assignment, the kids are working, and then we're drawing our comics. And like sometimes kids give it ideas or they get involved in it, and it's really like cool to be like, we're all just here making art. So that's also like why teaching has made a lot of sense.
Yeah. One more thing. Find a job with access to a copy machine.
Any other questions? Yes.
This is kind of a creative question in a way. What advice would you give to reach a certain goal of being a storyteller?
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give for someone to reach the goal of being a storyteller?
Say that into the mic.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to reach the goal of being a storyteller?
You go.
Not
You're
answer it.
storyteller.
No, you go.
You
You guys go.
answer.
I think you really have to develop a habit, right? And that could be setting aside time every day or every week to work on your art, and you just stick to it no matter what else comes in your life. If you can do that for a year, by the end of that year, you'll have something. You'll have like a story or a mini comic or something. It's all about building the habit.
Yeah, I really second that. Like, you just have to do it even if you don't want to, and just do anything. But also do stuff that you love. Like, for me, because I have the lowly publisher, Fantagraphics, Thien Pham. Just kidding. I love my publisher. No, I really just I create stuff that I love, and that makes it easy. And then also, I love to mix it up personally. I know some people have a very defined style. For me, I like to try new things, and that keeps me really invested.
I'm going to third that with a Stephen King quote, which is, professionals get up and go to work, amateurs sit around and wait for inspiration. So you just have to be doing it all the time. pretty much.
I forced that, but I would also add something else, which is not only do you have to make the stories, you should try hard to get them out into the world, even if it's just your family members or friends. Find a way to get those stories into mini comics or zines or these days the kids are putting them on the Instagram or whatever, just find a way to get the stories out there.
First off, I want to clarify that I love Fantagraphics. It's still my dream to be. When Briana got published by Fantagraphics, I was so jealous because that had been our dream. Fantagraphics and John and Corley had been our dream for so long that when she got that deal, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you're getting published by Fantagraphics. So I just want to put that out there. As much as Briana's trying to slander me, I do reiterate everything, but yeah, Jason's is right. The reason we did zines was because we had creativity and we wanted to put something out there. If I had all this creativity, I was drawing all these comics pages, but there was no way to give it to people or to publish it in some way, I would have totally quit. And so zine was our way of doing that. And then now, Instagram is another way that I do it, and I think that's important, is to not only do it and draw it, but then show it to people and sell it to people or give it to people. And I think that's the last step in the creative process.
This will reinforce the point that these guys have made, but having deadlines is really helpful. And for a while, my deadline to get a new mini comic out was there's a new SPX coming up this fall, and I've got Ape in January, and I've got Comic-Con in July. So just you don't want to show up a year later with nothing new. So even if it was just putting out one mini comic per year, that was still a goal. That was still 12 pages of content that didn't exist before. And so, yeah.
One more question.
Oh. Yep, another question?
One more question.
Oh.
Sorry, we can definitely do this. Hi everyone, I'm one of the organizers of San Francisco Zine Fest, and here, this is for Thien. I have a certificate from the California legislature. It says, it's a certificate of recognition for Thien Pham, our 2025 guest of honor.
There's a new picture of me in there, though.
It's the one for tomorrow. Okay. It's in recognition of your outstanding contributions as an award-winning graphic novelist, educator, and community storyteller. Your work has touched the hearts of readers across generations, artfully bridging personal narrative and cultural memory through the universal language of food and family. Your dedication to uplifting immigrant voices and inspiring young creators reflect the very spirit of San Francisco Zine Fest and the values of our diverse California communities. On behalf of the California State Assembly, thank you for your artistic vision and your lasting impact on California's creative and cultural life. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks so much. That's awesome.
Go ahead.
That's really awesome. Thanks so much.
Of course.
Well, let's we have time for one last question. Let's end with a Thien specific question. Does anyone have a question specifically for Thien? Oh, okay, yes.
If you could choose any other job, what would it be?
Any other job? I think I was just watching this documentary on Netflix, and I think I could have been a pretty good pro wrestler. I think I'm pretty good on the mic, and I think that I could have learned to be a pretty good wrestler. Yeah, I think that
what
might
would your
be.
name be? What would your name be?
I don't know yet, but I the cartoonist. Jason?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Tin would make a good chef.
That's just. What about you?
Oh, we're all saying.
These are Tin specific questions.
I see.
Oh, well, you said good
What
chef?
job would
A good chef.
would Tin be?
I don't know. You got it.
Oh boy. I think Thien Pham would. I think he would be, and I know this sounds mean, but it's actually nice. I think he would be a great Lyft driver. Because you guys, he loves to drive, and he loves to make conversation, and he loves a 5-star rating.
I think Tin, and this is gonna sound mean, but it's actually really nice, would be a great amusement park mascot.
Wait, the guy in the suit? Or
Yeah,
the
in the suit,
mascot
in the
be
suit.
of Thien Pham?
Both could work.
Mine's kind of real because he was just talking recently about how he wanted to own a comic book store. So you would be good at sitting in the comic book store you own, but not working at the comic book store you own.
Model and spokesperson for Nike Air Jordans.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We are all signing books. We're all the way down at the end by the windows. Gene Yang will be joining us. If you guys have, or if you just want to say hi to him and meet the famous Gene Yang, he'll be there. Briana has all her graphic novels and her old zines there. She's signing, and they're all amazing. Julia, of course, will be down there as well. She's got not only comics and zines, but products as well. Jason will be there as well. If you want to come and yell at him or ask him for more of an explanation about Darren Bell, he'll be there for that. And special Raina will be signing with us. Raina,
I have book plates. I don't have books, but I did bring book plates. And if you would like a book plate from me, all I ask is that you buy a zine or a comic from somebody that you don't know who's here, someone whose work you haven't read, someone who you're not familiar with. Buy something from them. Even if you haven't done it yet, before you get mine, just promise me that you will do that so that you spread some joy.
Yeah, and she'll be there with us signing as well. So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you so much to Tin, and thank you to all of our panelists. San Francisco Zine Fest is going on for one more hour until 5 p.m. Support exhibitors, support San Francisco Zine Fest. You can buy festival merch at the front or donate money. There's going to be an after party at Silver Sprocket in the Mission from 7 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. Come meet other zinesters, talk about your experience today, celebrate, support the store. Thank you so much to our ASL interpreters, April Shohan and Sarah Whittam, and to Fox Nakai for filming. And San Francisco Zine Fest is a member of Intersection for the Arts. Intersection for the Arts is a bedrock Bay Area arts nonprofit that provides people working in arts and culture with fiscal sponsorship and resources to grow. Thank you so much to everybody for being here.
Thank you.